So let's look at number one. Number one says Ed Cure invested $2,000. So his principal is $2,000. His interest, his annual interest rate is equal to 5.5%. It's compounded quarterly. Okay? And your time is 2 years. And they want us to use the table on A11. So what we need to do is we need to look at this table and see what values that the table needs. And the A pages are the orange pages. Look at that, I opened up right to it. See how they're orange on the outside here? Now, A11, compound interest amount of $1. So this is how much interest you make on $1. So that's why you multiply this times however much you invested for that period. Now, what does it look like we have here? It needs the period in. So it wants to know the number of periods, not years. And then it wants to know what? Rate per what? Can no one read this up here? Rate per period. Okay? What have we got in our problem here? We've just got time. Do we have the number of periods? What would the number of periods be? It's compounded quarterly, so that's 4 times a year, correct? For 2 years, that would be a total of what? 8 periods. However, we have the what? Annual interest rate. Is that what they want? They want what? Rate per period. So how am I going to find R here? I'm going to take my interest rate and divide by the number of periods per year. How many periods are there per year? This is 8 for 2 years. So there's 4. Now, here's the deal. Does something look kind of weird when I write it like this? Everyone look up here. You can write it down in just a second. I'll freeze it and you can write both of them down. Does something look weird about when I do that? Yeah. What? Well, if you've learned one thing in math, you don't need to mix percentages and plain old numbers, right? So when I put this, use this, I probably, well, at least when I put it into a formula up here, I probably need to change this to a decimal. But look at our table. Our table leaves this as a what? So do I need to change this to a decimal? I don't. No, I don't have to change anything. I just got to go 5.5 and divide by 4. What do you get when you do that? Do you get 1.375%?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So since in your table it's at 1.375%, right? I don't need to change this to a decimal, do I?
Nope.
So you're good. But what do you think you're going to need to do when you put it into a formula?
You will.
I will, won't I? Because I'm using it in a formula. I'm just using it in a table now, and I want it in the terms that my table's in. So, okay, I know n is 8. That puts me to right here, right? And I know my percentage is what? 1.375. So my amount per $1 is what? 1.11544. So it's 1.11544. I know that my thing here says that I multiply that times the amount that I invested. How much did I invest here, did it say? 2,000. And that should give me my future value of my investment, shouldn't it? What do you get when you multiply those together?
Yep.
2,200 and what?
$30.88.
30 or 32?
30.
30.
So $30.88.
Yes.
They wanted to know amount and compound interest. Well, what's my how much compound interest did I make? $230.88. Would everyone agree? That's your answer to number 1. Okay. Now I'm going to do number 3. I don't have as much room down here, but I'll zoom this out where you guys can write it all down. Right now, don't worry about writing it down. We're going to do number 3. Number 3, what does it say? Does it tell us to use a table?
No.
No, it doesn't. So, I'm probably going to need to use my formula. A is equal to what?
Original.
P times 1.00 plus R to the nth power. So I'm probably going to need to find P, either A, R, or N. I'm probably going to need to find, they're probably going to want me to find one of these, right? One of these they're going to want me to find, and then they'll probably give me something for all the rest, or at least a way to get it, right? So if we look at number 3, it says how much compound interest will $50,000. We know our original principal right there, don't we? Investing a lot of money, huh? $50,000 have earned in 10 years. Well, that's time. That's 10 years. So that's over here to the side. Okay?
Hi, Jacob.
There you go, thank you.
Come on in, my man. We're doing 5-6 today. Fun, huh? You sit. You want to sit? Sit out your way. Come on in. Make yourself comfy. Huh? You're all right. If you need me to, I'll explain it to you after we're done, okay? The amount is what they want me to find, how much money I'm going to make. So this is my question mark, right? What is my rate? It says it's 6.4% compounded quarterly. So my rate,
Be
6.4%, and divide it by what to get my rate per period, right? But remember, what do I need to make this? 0.064 divided by 4. What do I get that I need to put in for R? What do you guys get when you do that? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll leave it just like this, won't we? We can just put it in the equation like that, can't we? Okay, so what about N? What's N? N is my number of total periods.
40.
I have 4 periods a year for 10 years. That's a total of what? 40 periods. So I've got a number for N, I've got a number for R, and I've got a number for P. It's really just, the rest is just calculator work. I'm going to put in 50,000, 1.00 plus R, which is 0.064 divided by 4. All of that to, what do I put up here? 40th power. Now, the hardest thing about this isn't, I mean, it was pretty easy to see what to put in there, right? Probably the hardest part is getting your calculator out and knowing how to put that in your calculator. I'm going to get mine out and show you how I would do it a pretty easy way. Okay, maybe if I turn that off, it won't glare quite so much. Probably going to. What I'm going to do is I would probably figure out this part right here first. I'm going to go 0.064 divided by 4, press equals. That's 0.016, right? And then I'm going to add that to 1, and I get that. Then what do I need to do? I need to take whatever I get in this parentheses, I need to take it to the what power? 40th power, don't I? You guys see what I did there? So now I've got everything inside here, don't I? Now the only thing left to do is multiply it times what? 50. What do I get? 94,000. Well, wait a second. Did I put the wrong number in?
You
Yeah,
I
but
put
you can-
50.
But you can leave it because I got 94, 34, 4.876.
How about that? I multiplied it times another 1,000. All right, so 94,344.88, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how much money you got in your account now. That is your what? Amount. However, is that what the problem asked for? What did the problem ask for?
Compound interest.
They asked for what? How much compound interest? Well, how much compound interest is that? What do I do?
Subtract. The,
I subtract that from
50,000.
50,000, and I get, how much money did you make over 10 years?
Holy moly. I'm-
$44,344.88. Now remember, that's over a decade. But you can see how you almost doubled your money, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. But if you divide that, I mean, how much money did you make a year, average making? So that's only about $4,500 a year. That's a safe return right there on that money, and it's not bad, okay? It's not like you're, making ridiculous money, but when you make huge returns, you're taking usually pretty big gambles, okay?
So it's 1 through,
We're going to do numbers 1 through 16.
Right conditions, draw table.
Write conditions, draw tables, show all steps, and work. Try to get your stuff finished up, put in the grade book.